So far, we had what what I thought was two good, robust discussions back in January 8th and February 19th.
You know, when this first came before us, I was kind of leaning towards not supporting it. And then, I turned to my right and I see a book here that my colleague has about opioids. And I kind of curious, so kind of reading it. And then I did more research and then looked into, the pharmaceutical companies and their aggressive marketing campaigns. And they made billions of dollars, right?
Right.
So it was like profit over patient safety. So it's time for them to fork over some of those monies that they made billions, off of our people who have lost their lives. I had a classmate who committed suicide, and it was tied to opioid use. I know a lot of people who, that we got to deal with this devastating effects of their aggressive marketing campaigns. And they just, like I said, they need to fork some of that money over so that we can start addressing this epidemic that they helped create.
With all due respect to my colleague, Ms. Poindexter, I am on the other side of this, as that I've repeatedly asked for information to be brought forth that would convince me otherwise. I don't disagree there's an opioid epidemic. What I am concerned about is that we are going for a deep pocket rather than actually the root of the problem. And I said it previously, going after a manufacturer, I think we're ignoring the bigger problem.
It's not my assumption that somebody needs to bring me the information to convince me. I guess I'm a little disappointed that Mr. Richards hasn't gotten information, but I would love to encourage him to, if you just Google it, there's more information about this issue and the current lawsuits and all the different facts associated with it, even so much as to now it's being indicated that certain manufacturers and the family that owns the drug company not only marketed the drugs with false pretenses and not indicating the true nature of the potential demise that would come to people utilizing these pharmaceutical drugs, but also that they are manufacturing the drugs to help, quote unquote, cure it. So I guess in my mind, that just is a really, really, really big red flag that not only was it intentional to provide something that would do harm to people, but that it was for the intention of making money, and so much so that then they went to the next step, which is to make money off of the cure. So I guess, and in all due respect, Mr. Richards, I suppose I have a question about, and I understand you're a doctor, but you work in a veterinary practice. So my question would be, would it have been appropriate for a drug manufacturer to present you with, just how does that, I mean, it's not surprising to me that you haven't had that experience because the nature of your doctoring, I'm not sure the nature of your medical practice is not necessarily as directly related to pain medicine for humans. It's been really interesting to me. This is a national topic. This is a statewide topic. This is an island epidemic. We're seeing one of the largest corruption cases in the state of Hawaii, drawing right into, locally in Hilo, the writing of opioid prescriptions. And I do want to also state that it's not for lack of taking and acknowledging how the doctors have been involved and patients in their own consumption. And all those other platforms have and are being addressed. But this is taking it to the next level and holding accountable those that created a poison and sold it as a magic pill. And the devastation socioeconomically on our communities is vast and far-reaching.
Ms. Villegas, I will politely but emphatically disagree with you on a couple of areas. First of all, I do carry a license to prescribe opioids, and I have so for the last 30-plus years. The marketing I've never seen it in the veterinary world. I've never seen it in the veterinary discussion, first thing. Second thing, you touched on it and you proved my point, that you said all I have to do is do a Google search. And I find interestingly humorous that April 1st is the only day people question the validity of things we read on the internet. I'm not saying that there's not good information there. What I'm saying is it can be very jaded. And so a credible source would be a credible source. Google is not necessarily a totally credible source. Secondly, you touched on it and you proved my point for me, so thank you. The prescriber of the opioid is the end user, and that's where we need to focus. You also made a comment that this medication is poison. It's not poison. It's absolutely not poison, because if that was the case, we should outlaw it completely and have no pain mitigation. Now, that's not the right direction either. What we're talking about is managing a crisis, and if there is culpability in manufacturing, I'm all for it. I have yet to see credible information that makes me think otherwise, but I also believe that the end user, the prescriber, the one that carries a DEA license, is to be held accountable. You made the point, we have that going on in our state this very moment, and that is accurate. That's what we need to do, is go after end user. But either these suppliers are coming through a unscrupulous or illegal end user prescribing them, or they're coming through some other channel. If that channel is not addressed, it's not the manufacturer, because these are not poisons. Used inappropriately, yes, they are poisonous.
I appreciate the discussion from both Mr. Richards from the professional aspect and also from the human perspective that Ms. Villegas has shared with us. And I believe that both sides are to me, accurate in what they and what they believe in. And because this is a class action lawsuit, I think some of the information that Mr. Richards, in my mind, is trying to obtain in making his decision is the reason why I believe a class action lawsuit to discuss this or to address this very serious problem that we have that touches everybody in this room. And for personal experience, opioids, not my personal experience, but family, the destruction to a human being that it does to address pain, I think people have no choice. There's a very, very an epidemic of people that use the drugs not for pain, but for, just for the feeling that they have, abuse. But I think before we can even get answers to questions that Mr. Richards has, this lawsuit will determine whether it is the manufacturer's responsibility or they are to blame for this epidemic of sorts. But I think we have to start somewhere. And it's a 50-50 chance on a class action, and if we win, they will win on legal determinations, and then we'll find out. If we don't win, it's not costing the county any money, but I really believe that if we win, we will at least have an opportunity to address something that everyone in this room has been touched by.
It's not only the manufacturers, but also the distribution chains that we're also looking at.
A motion to adopt Resolution 20-19. Ms. David?
Aye.
Ms. Eoff?
Aye.
Mr. Connie Lee Kleinfelder? Ms. Kirkovitz?
Aye.
Ms. Leloy?
No.
Ms. Poindexter?
Aye.
Mr. Richards?
No.
Ms. Villegas?
Aye.
Mr. Chung? Madam Chair, you have 6 votes in favor.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries, and thank you, Mr. Kamelamela.
Thank all of you.